All aboard! For this stagecoach is about to move out. It is for everyone that has potential and would love to be a superstar. Yeah, buddy, this stagecoach is leaving for Fun Timesville. And the Lord God is your driver to see that we have a safe trip. AC is your conductor.
Right here, Friday night at 12:30.
All aboard! All aboard! All aboard!
Be then!
Well, good afternoon, AC Fun Time, and we are sorry to have you in town with such a sad occasion, but we would like to have some words from you as to what you have to say to our city. And we know we need to heal, but what can you say to our city today that will make them feel somewhat at ease?
Well, I think that all of us are aware that the mayor and the law enforcement officials here in Charleston acted very wisely, very promptly. They called us for what it was. Looking at the facts in this case, it follows on the heels of the way that the North Charleston officials reacted to the Walter Scott shooting. And I think that what I would like to say to this community, that let us be very conscious of the fact that what happened here in this instance can be constructive. It can be something that we can galvanize around, something that we can move forward on, and it's not going to be any good for us to be destructive. We got to make sure that we do some constructive things coming out of this so that this community can continue to move forward in a very positive way. That, I knew Clemente Pinckney very well. I knew his sister, two other victims here. I knew Senator Malcolm Graham from North Carolina. His sister was one of the victims here. And my longtime friend, the presiding elder Middleton, his daughter was one of the victims in this instance. These are people I knew well. These are people, all of them were my constituents. I want all of us to do their lives, their legacy, and even their death honor by being constructive as we move forward, black and white together.
We want to truly thank you for this opportunity of the interview. And do you remember back in Burke School when you would always get on me? Arthur Chisholm, always.
I remember
in
you
trouble.
very well, yeah.
And we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Thank you.
And we hate to have you come to Charleston on such a sad occasion, but please do come back when we can sit down and talk about something different.
I look forward to it. Okay, bye.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Well, family, our city, the Port City, recently just had a tragedy. We were in the process of healing, and now we have another tragedy. Well, of course, we know there's always got to be a sacrifice, but all we can say now is we are in the process of healing. We've got to work together. We got to band together, but God has always got a plan. We'll wait and see what that plan is going to be. But in the meantime, we're going to sit back, relax, and you're going to be entertained by the legendary Abe White.
I'm Jamar Alexander Boyd II, Georgia Southern University, a senior representative of the NAACP and president of St. Jude Up Till Dawn. And thank you to AC Fun Time for this opportunity. This event on last night was tragic, literally brought me to tears and to my knees in prayer. It's time for us as a nation to speak about our history, to learn from our history, and to come together as a people, unified white and black, and to grow from this tragedy. Thank you.
I would like to thank Elder Carly Town and AC Fun Time for this opportunity. As you know, on Wednesday, the city of Charleston suffered a devastating blow when 9 people died right behind me at the Mother Emanuel AME Church doing Bible study. The city is at a loss of words, and we would like to thank the city police officers and the citizens for taking a stand against violence and bringing this particular guy who shot those people to justice.
Hi, I'm David Mack III, proud to be here with AC Fun Time. Quality information, first class. Again, proud to be with them. I serve in the South Carolina State Legislature in the South Carolina House. We are right now, as a community, individually and collectively, numb. We feel so much pain for Pastor Senator Clemente Pinckney and all the folks whose life came to an end on yesterday while in church. You know, we tell our young folks that we don't want them going into some of the hole in the wall, rough places and things of that nature. We want them to be in church. What better place to be in church? Yet, a sick and demonic mind makes that a nightmare for several folks. But it's happened before. The 3 little girls in Birmingham, Alabama, where some sick individual placed a bomb and their life was snuffed out at a very, very young age. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s mother gunned down at the church organ on a Sunday. We have elements in our society that has been and always will be sick. So it's up to us, black, white, Asian, Latino, young, old, all of us, that care about one another, that want to live in a decent society, that understand the aspect of pulling together. It's going to take all of us coming together to fight this nonsense. There's so many layers, different layers to the problem here. How easy it is to get a gun. The lack of mental health services. And just pure racism and hate. We have to do better. As we continue to grieve, to be confused, to have this pain, we have to use this time, this event, like every other bad thing that has happened to us in history or in our lives, to build on it. How do we build a better community? How do we work together? How do we use this as a better communication through law enforcement and all the entities that affects quality of life? See, there's too many people that will create fights between the races, and we all want the same thing. What I call the 6 things. A good educational system for our children, a job or entrepreneur opportunity, health care, a decent place to live, clean air, and to be treated with dignity and respect. All these are critical. So again, I say to all of us out here, let's let this be a new beginning. Let's get to work. Thank you.
My name is Jason from United City Zulus, a part of Universal Zulu Nation, a hip-hop organization. And my thoughts on this heinous act that happened in this church last night is, it befuddles me that we're still at this point in 2015. This act was a terrorist act, and I want to specifically emphasize this because I know that they will try and just say this is a one-off event and this guy was crazy. And I mean, it's no coincidence that the day that this happened on, that that this was Denmark VC's co-founded church. And I want to tell people that are Caucasians that they need to take a stand on this now.
Greetings, this is Elder Carly Town with AC Funtime Superstar and the Baby Boomers, and I have Mr. Jack Logan here, and he has a organization called Put the Gun Down. Please put down the guns now, young people. So tell me a little bit about that. Why do you find it necessary to bring that poster this time at this space and time?
Okay. What we do prior to we try to use every preventive measure to educate children and teens not to pick up guns. And what we have found out since we began in 2010 after a shooting, teenagers copycat that adult just like they do with the drug dealing going on. And that's what we try to prevent, hoping that kids see this poster and it will stay in their mind. Don't repeat what this young man did here in that church.
Thank you very much, and you've heard it here on AC Funtime Superstar and the Baby Boomers.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the AC Funtime Superstar. Standing here with Councilman Gregory. And Councilman Gregory, we are sorry to have to meet you on such a sad occasion, but the city would like to know from you, how do you feel about the tragedy that happened, and do you have any words that will bring comfort and have us at some state of mind to know that we still have hope?
I know we have hope, because living without hope is like living in continuous darkness. But our hope will peer through the darkness, see the light, and wait until morning.
Right.
We are going through a healing process, a process where we now have to concentrate on burying our dead,
right.
And moving forward to make sure that this historical church continues to contribute to this community.
Councilman Gregory, we appreciate your time. And would you like to say anything to our viewers? We know that you're running for mayor, and what would you like to say to them?
I mean, actually, right now, I'm putting all that aside. What is most important for me right now is my church family. I'm an officer in the church, and I need to make sure that the vision that has been put forward by Senator Clemente continues to prosper and moves forward. Because our pastor was a true builder. Under his tutelage, we've been able to complete 3 properties as well as start on our elevator project. And our next move was to go forward with making sure that our historical sanctuary gets the kind of attention that it does need at this point.
Well, that says a lot. That says a lot, Congressman Gregory. And I thank you for, again, coming forth and giving your point of view and your opinion. And we thank you for taking the time to speak with AC Funtime Superstar. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay. Good afternoon. I am the Reverend Nelson B. Rivers III, Vice President of Religious Affairs and External Relations for the National Action Network with Reverend Al Sharpton. I'm also the pastor of Charity Missionary Baptist Church. And I'm standing in front of Emanuel AME Church, where I was married to my wife 32 years ago by Reverend Al Holman. Emanuel's been a bedrock in this community. It seems incredible that this could have happened here, but in one way it shows that it can happen anywhere. And so we are gladdened by the outpouring from the community, from those from near and far. We're glad that the suspect has been apprehended. We still need more information about why it was done, what made Emanuel a target, and what can be done about it going forward. As Bishop Bryan said today, we have to have the difficult conversation about guns in America. Guns kill. We have more guns available than before, under worse circumstances than before. America has to have this serious conversation about the prevalence and the growth and explosion of guns among us. Open carry, selling guns where they sell alcohol. It is crazy. And we have to have this difficult conversation about why that shouldn't be and what we can do about it. So we're glad to hear that our friends from the Gullah Geechee Network are here. We're glad that they have come. But more importantly, we want to be in solidarity with these families, these 9 families, these friends. And so we're looking forward to what the Lord is going to continue to do by uplifting this community through these families, through their grief, suffering, and their relief and their recovery. We thank you for being here. We're looking forward to being in one with them to give them the support they need at this time. Thank you.
We want to thank Elder Carly Town and AC Fun Time for this opportunity to be able to speak about the incident that happened last night. Last night is a tragedy in our city, in our city, but it's one that we wasn't expected to happen. When you allow the devil to set in, well, one thing the devil cannot do is set up in God's house. The town needs healing right now. I'm lost for words because it's a shock to me. I lost my cousin in the church last night, and she was a mother of 4. She was a mother with 4 children. As you can see, I'm never lost for words, but I'm lost right now today. But the town, now it's time for healing. We have to come together and heal. We cannot let the devil set up shop in our city and nowhere in this country. This country is on the verge of making a turn. And any time it's trying to make a turn, you have the hate groups that's going to say that. But we got to be bigger than that. We got to overcome those hate groups that's going to sit in and try to do harm to our city. So we're asking you to come out, support us, help us to open our doors and to fight crime in our community. I want to thank you for this opportunity.
Greetings, this is Elder Carly Town with AC Funtime Superstar and the Baby Boomers. And I have Terry Bass and
Reese G.
Terry, please tell us a little bit about your feelings about what just happened in our city last night.
Well, it's a multitude of emotion, sadness, anger, frustration, but also hope that we can, sometimes out of the worst of times, come the best result on the back end. So I'm just hopeful that these people didn't die in vain, and I feel a personal connection because this is the church I grew up in as a child.
Wow,
so I knew some of the folks that died, and I have fond memories of Emanuel, and even memories of falling asleep during the message as a child, and message of the baccalaureate service that all of the seniors did in school, and so many things. And my mother, all the history and the family that has gone through Emanuel, it's really a tragedy, but I just pray and hope that out of this mess, there's a message that get to the people, and out of this tragedy and this situation, something good can happen for the future. Because I got an 8-year-old, and I don't want her to have to continue to grow up in a mess like this country is in right now. So I'm gonna do what I can. My word for the rest of this year is unity.
I thank you very much. And Reese G, please tell me a little bit about your feelings.
Oh, it's just to echo what Terry says. It's all about unity, and if we can get a message out of this mess and come together as one and deal with the problems, the issues, race, whatever it may be, then these lives that are lost will not be in vain. We can bring something. We can bring hope to our community. We all feel a spirit of heaviness, and we will feel the spirit for a long time to come. But from that, we can turn it into something positive.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And Reese G is the Z93 Jam's #1 midday lady, so she speaks to the young people.
Yes.
And they need to hear hope in our words, and know that, even though that was a sick 21-year-old, there are 21-year-old black and brown kids that think some things that ain't too wholesome themselves, and we all can do better.
I thank you. Thank you so much. You heard it right here on AC Funtime Superstar and the Baby Boomers.
All right, what's happening? This is Pastor Dixon here, one of the co-founders of the coalition, People United to Take Back Our Community. First off, thanking AC Funtime Superstars and Elder Carly Town for giving me an opportunity to speak today and to address this issue of the tragic killing that happened yesterday here in Charleston, South Carolina, at the church that sits in the background with me right now, Mother Emanuel AME Church, where the pastor, until yesterday morning was the Reverend Clemente Pinckney, who was also a state senator. Yesterday afternoon, there was a young white male who came to Bible study. He came and he sat for the entire Bible study. At the end of the Bible study, he stood up, he pulled out a weapon, and he began to indiscriminately fire in the church. At the end of his firing, there were 8 people dead there. 1 was taken to the hospital, and that person died there. And I believe there were only 13 people in the room. 1 was a 5-year-old child who hid for her life, and she survived. This is the reality of what happened inside of this church yesterday, but it goes deeper than that. Inside of that church that was killed, 4 of those that were killed were preachers. One of those preachers was the pastor, my friend, Reverend Clemente Pinckney, who is also a state senator. Clemente Pinckney lay dead in his own church. Right now we have an angry community, but a community that's ready to heal. Fortunately, because of the diligent efforts of our law enforcement department, and I'm going to put it out just like that, because of their diligence and their investigative talents, they were able to arrest the suspect earlier today. They caught him in North Carolina, about 4 hours from here. They've got him in arrest, and they've charged him with this horrendous crime. Now, for the community, that's a level of healing, but that's not the complete level of healing. Now we have to work. Now we have to work at coming together, because why did this happen? Why did this white guy feel like it was okay to come inside of this African-American church and just cut loose with this firearm? And then say it was all about race. He has had no problem, from what I understand, explaining that he hates black people. See, there's a problem there. There's a problem that exists there. There's a problem in South Carolina that exists that deals with racism without dealing with racism. It's an undercover thing. It's a we don't talk about it thing. But we see here in South Carolina, 2 months ago, we saw the indiscriminate killing of Walter Scott by a North Charleston police officer by the former officer by the name of Michael Slager. 8 shots fired as he fled from the scene. As he ran away from the man, 8 shots fired at the man's back, 5 of which hit him and killed Walter Scott. In between that time, we've had an officer respond to a home invasion call where the owner called the police. The owner steps out on the porch with a weapon to protect himself in his hand, and the police officer, before he even got, put your weapon up, put your hands up, before he even said that, he fires off a shot, hits the man in the neck. The man is paralyzed now. There's been one other shooting in this area, officer-involved shooting of an African-American male, and also one white male. The white male died. But there's a problem, this problem of racism, this undercover problem of racism. As we look to North Charleston, in the Walter Scott case, the mayor of North Charleston has refused to address the community concerns about this, basically ignoring the community voice once again, even though he works for us. We are the employer because we elected him and we pay a salary. Our tax dollars pay him, so that makes us the employer and he the employee. But he has the audacity to tell us, I'm not going to listen to what you have to say. Well, that dog ain't gonna hunt in South Carolina no more. We have these issues like this that's coming out with more visibility. The film that followed the shooting of Walter Scott. This issue right here where this gentleman blatantly outright said, yes, I'm a racist and I hate black people. That's why I did this. And there are other incidences here where we're seeing within our school board, within Medical University of South Carolina, and other cases where we're seeing blatant racism overtly portrayed, where it stood for so long as an undercover sin. They were good at covering up their sin. Oh, but the God I serve said it's about time for the black man in America, the black man in South Carolina, to receive justice, to receive fairness, and to receive equity. Now is the day, 2015, that dog of racism ain't gonna hunt no more. And we're about to stand up together, because this is a galvanizing force now as our community comes together and says enough is enough. We ain't having it no more, and that's the bottom line. AC, I really appreciate you and Elder Carly Town, AC Fun Time Superstars, having Pastor Dixon from the Coalition out here today to talk about a subject, and I just didn't shed no tears today, but you can believe I'm holding them back right now, because that was some mess that happened up in here yesterday. But it ain't gonna happen to our people no more, because we ain't allowing it.
And a time for us to understand that madness has to stop.
Has Charleston lost isolated incidents?
I don't know what it is. The law enforcement have said it. I know 9 families are grieving, and the whole nation needs to share in their grief first. We can deal with the rest, but let's first deal with the respect for the family. Reverend Pinckney stood for this country. The other 8 were in Bible studies. And we're here to say that anyone should be able to go in a house of worship, church, synagogue, mosque, and not be afraid for their life. Every church around this nation needs to be rallying. Every synagogue, every mosque, every non-believer. Because if we can't go to church and be safe, where can we be? So we didn't come to make any political points today. We come to say to our friends and our loved ones, and this is his cousin, these are members of my organization that live here, Reverend Rivers, that heads our religious affairs department, has a church here. This is Elder Johnson, been here since last night, woke me up and told me about this, that these are people from South Carolina that asked me to show support, and I am, and I will. And I'm going to see Congressman Clark.
Is it terrorism?
Reverend, over here, Associated Press, sir. Can you explain to the world what exactly needs to be part right now?
Weighing on my heart is the last time I was in Charleston, Reverend Pinckney stood with Reverend Rivers and Elder Johnson and I at the site where Walter Scott was killed. Now we just had prayer at the site he was killed. We have had too much killing, and rather than trying to raise the tension, we need to pause. The nation needs to pause and say, how do we stop this hate and stop this madness and stop this removal of those things that make us sensitive to the value of human life. This is a moment the nation needs to pause.
Why do you
what's the reason for the hate?
Can you explain us?
Once again, AC Fun Time Superstar, and we are here downtown, well, Elder Colleytown. This is truly a tragedy. Yes. And I'll tell you, Elder Colleytown, people are sad. Yes. People are mourning. Yes, yes. Will you, Elder Colleytown, tell us a little about the history? Well, you and I spoke off camera, and you were telling me about the history of this church.
Well, Emanuel is actually a church that Denmark Vesey, he would have meetings there. So that was one of the significant things about it. It also played a very important role in the civil rights era, and Martin Luther King also spoke there. And it's just been a pillar for the community. It is called Mother Emanuel because that is what it is, because it's where African Americans started their own church so that they could be able to sit down and pray the way they want, the way their ancestors prayed. So this is a very, very historical time here, because it's not just that this young man did a killing, but it touched the whole community, the whole community, a community that has been around for more than 400 years. And I'm very touched, but one of the things that I look for out of this, I always look for the good in things, and I'm looking for unity and love, peace, and just continue to work toward unity.
On that note, Elder Colleytown, all I can say is if we don't come together, we're going to destroy ourselves, and we don't need anybody to come and destroy us. This should be a wake-up call to all of those in the community that's going around tearing each other down and tearing each other apart. We don't need anybody to come outside and tear us up, because some of us are doing that on our own, and we need to stop, take a listen, and at this point, all we can say is love, peace. See you on the other side. AC Fun Time Superstars.